What's going on? It's your girl Sadiece. We are here at BRED in Abu Dhabi, the city's first neo-culture festival. We're celebrating music, we're celebrating art, fashion, food, and of course, 50 years of hip-hop. And with that, it only makes sense to be talking to one of the biggest pioneers in hip-hop with over 40 years of contributions to the game. It's Mr. Jazzy Jeff himself. How are you?
I am good. I am very good.
Thank you for blessing us with your presence, because he just got done telling us how busy he is and that he's leaving right after this, which is dope. You know, busy means money.
Yes.
Money makes the world go round, unfortunately. But yeah, before we kick things off, I like to do something called a little drip check.
Okay.
So, what you wearing, who you wearing, why? Is there something that's significant that you're wearing today as well?
No, actually, if I knew it was going to be a drip check, I would have changed my whole outfit. But no, you know what? Like, when I play, I sweat, and
Okay.
because I go all in.
Fair enough.
So I can't wear what I want to wear when I play, because I can't mess it up. So as long as I got something comfortable on and something nice on my feet, I'm good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I see you. You got the lows on. I like them. I like
Yes.
them. That's what's up. Well, we'll dive straight in. You are you've had a very long career in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider to be one of your biggest accomplishments to date, and why?
You know what? I really think it is probably the longevity aspect. You know, you don't know how long this is going to last. You know, when I got into it, we didn't have a whole bunch of forefathers that have took the whole journey. So, you know, the first group that ever does anything or tries to accomplish everything are the ones that stumble through and try to make their way. So the fact that I've made it to celebrate the 50th year of hip hop, to me, is the biggest accomplishment that, you know, not only myself, but myself and a bunch of peers, you know, really kind of look around, and it's hard to believe that we're still here, we're still going strong, and hip hop is thriving the way that it is. So that's it. If there's anything I can say that's my biggest accomplishment, is the fact that I'm still here.
The longevity.
Yes.
And what do you think sets you guys apart? Because there are only a few of you left from the originators, for various reasons. What set you guys apart to that you feel like you guys are still around today? What's the secret sauce?
If I got to give anything, it's adapting and changing with the times. You know, things have gone through so many changes. When we first started, it was no social media. The internet wasn't, the internet was here, but we didn't have access to it. And just being able to adapt to whatever new technologies come along, to try to keep it going. You know, it's, for me walking around with 5 crates of records, playing records, to me having a computer on my back with all of my music, to being able to play music off of a jump drive, is some of the equipment technologies. But just, it goes all the way down to your preparation, and goes all the way down to the way that you, that you approach it, with things changing. Nothing the way that I approach it, well, I'm not going to say nothing, but 90% of the things that I approached 20 years ago is not the same way. So just paying attention to what's around and what is the best way to get the message out.
Yeah, and that could be hard, because even when I think about technology, because I'm going to switch into that in a bit, but like I could be old school, and I'll fight the technological advances.
Absolutely.
How do you manage that part? Like, how do you just let go and you're like, no.
I'm a geek.
Okay.
I'm a technology geek. I really, really enjoy technology and how things work. And I get excited to see something new come along that could possibly help. I do this in a way that is extremely simple. My job is to play music for people to have a good time. How I play that music and what I use to play that music may change throughout the years, but my approach has never changed.
Yeah,
so as long as I keep doing that, maybe one day you're going to see me Minority recording and playing music, but as long as I can do my job, I'm happy.
No, I like that. Keep it simple. Don't
Yes.
complicate
Oh,
things.
man.
Speaking of technology, AI,
Yep.
social media, just technology in general, but specifically AI, because that's a hot topic right now. And when it comes to music, when it comes to producers, mimicking voices, mimicking lyrics, what are your personal thoughts on that? And just like in the game as well as a musician? Scared?
No, not at all. I think one of the things that I felt, I remember them saying, if kids are able to take a calculator to school, they're going to end up dumb. And that never happened. I remember the internet. Everybody's, oh my God, they're going to blow the world up. I think, unfortunately, what we do a lot of times in the world is we have a tendency to focus on the negative before the positive. Like everybody is looking at AI and what the bad part of AI is. At the end of the day, they have technology that almost can do it all for you. That's cool for the person who can't do it.
Yeah.
Like somebody who does it, you use that technology as a helper, not as a crutch. So I can't really worry about the people that, the people that are like, hey, I'm just gonna put this in and it's gonna spit something out. What I'm doing doesn't fit them. So I can't, I don't really worry about that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm a technology person. There's some of the stuff that I'm kind of like, wow, that is crazy. And then some of the stuff is kind of like, yo, like, I don't think it's right that you can mimic someone. I don't think it's right that, you don't have to say it's Beyonce's name. We know what she sounds like.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's right. I think that stuff kind of needs to be regulated. But, as far as, as a producer, or as an artist, we all get stuck that we need help sometimes. And if there's a technology that can help, I read a quote today from a guy that I follow very closely, and he said, AI is not going to take your job. The person using AI is going to take your job. So it's almost like if you kind of look at these things that they're a tool, then you're okay.
Yeah.
It's, the microwave didn't stop people from cooking.
This is true, apart from me. But yeah, this is true. Now, Jay, so do you find yourself using AI? Would you use AI?
I haven't jumped in enough to figure out a way to use it. I've used some of the chat GPT stuff, just curiosity, asking questions,
It's crazy, isn't it?
Oh man,
it's crazy.
I literally took, I'm a very big cook, and I literally took a bunch of ingredients and I asked, what could I make with these? And it gave me some awesome recipes.
That's good.
And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
But it didn't cook it for me though. That's
That's the next step.
Yeah.
That's the next step. That's when it gets scary.
Yeah, that's when it gets scary.
All right, so just switching back to music industry. So, you've been in the game for a very long time. The music industry is a very competitive place. And we know that it has its, its glorified side. It's, the side that's pretty beautiful, but there's also the sides that can be a little bit tricky to navigate.
It's more of those.
I'm trying to be real politically correct.
Come on, all right, listen, you can bring it.
But what are some of the stories in your 40 plus years? Give me something nasty. Give me like your worst experience in the industry. One that comes to mind first, and then
I don't know if it's a thing of worse. I am not a fan of the music industry. As a matter of fact, a while ago, I kind of made the statement that I am not in the music industry. I do music.
Okay.
The music industry structure is not set up in favor of artists. It's not set up in favor of producers. It's not set up in favor of any of the creative people. It's really set up for the behind the scenes people. I relished the day and was really excited when it seemed like the tables have turned and people were really fighting for their independence.
And equity.
Yes.
And ownership.
And then we have the situation that a lot of the major labels are behind a lot of the streaming platforms. So it doesn't matter if you're independent or you're signed to a major, it still kind of goes through them. But I think, I appreciate people who try to find ways to get to their fan base directly.
Yeah.
Because that, there has always been a side that never made sense to me. It never made sense that I am going to create the art, I'm going to produce the art, I'm going to write the art, record the art, and go out and perform the art, but I'm the lowest man on the totem pole.
Yeah.
That there was a side that it was kind of like the people that are in the buildings pulling all of the strings, none of them can make the art.
Mm-hmm.
That if everybody just stopped making the art, so, I enjoy the independent side. Like I said, going back to my earlier statement, these things did not exist 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So just figuring out ways to get your art out or figuring out a way to get a direct line. I never understood that a record company could hold the key to your fan base. They're your fans.
Yeah.
They're not the record company's fans.
Yeah.
They're your fans. But they always had control over the switch. They could cut the switch on and off whenever they seen fit.
And you put in that hard work to graft and cultivate that fanship.
And I think, that to me, that was one of the pluses of social media. Social media gave you direct access to people who like what you do. Now, they changed a lot of the algorithms now that they don't want you to have access to all of your fans. And I what's funny? I don't agree with it, but there's a side that I understand. Because if Kim Kardashian has 250 million followers and she can promote a shirt to 250 million followers, people pay $10 million to promote to 10 million followers on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things like, yep, you created a platform that I think is great.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it spiraled out of control that you're kind of like the people who are on the platform actually have more control than the people who own the platform.
Yeah, true. Man, it's nuts. Technology is crazy, but we need it.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And like you said, it's just about keeping up with the times or else we'll get left behind swiftly.
And 100%.
Swiftly. All right, switching lanes quickly. Bel Air, do you watch Bel Air?
Yes, I do.
Do you like Bel Air?
I love it.
Do you? Okay,
I love it.
So what's what was the process for you with that? Were you involved in any of the creative process? Did they have to consult you and be like, is it okay
No.
if we do? No, because it was all based on a fictional character anyway, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Like the guy who came up with the trailer just created it, shot it, and posted it. And within 24 hours, Will saw it and reached out and was like, this is absolutely amazing. I need to fly you out and have a meeting.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it went. It was, I love the fact that he took a comedic show and put a serious spin on it.
Yeah.
And did it very well. And then I watched, when they were in development and when they started shooting, the authenticity really blew me away. Like he came to Philly and investigated all of the places. He shot in Philly and all of the real places. There's so many people in Bel Air that I know personally from Philly that it was kind of like, wow, you got him to do it, But I appreciate the authenticity that he approached the show with, especially it being a little bit on a serious nature. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I basically last year I hosted the podcast for the show, so I got a lot of behind the scenes. I got a chance to see a lot of the episodes before they came out, and it was really, really well done.
Good. I'm just glad that you and Hillary finally got some action.
Man, even if it was the other, well, that's a whole other.
Listen, I love that on-screen chemistry, man. I love that show. So yeah, favorite memory with James Avery.
James Avery was the person that taught me how to go on vacation. James Avery in the off season would get in his car with a couple of his friends and he would drive completely cross country.
Wow.
And he would stop in all of these places and he would visit and he would eat good food. And I had never been on a vacation before when we started the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And we were talking and I told him that and he gave me a list of places to go, who had the best food, who had the nicest beach. And he really stress that you have to take time to yourself.
Yeah, because you guys had a special on-screen relationship.
Yes.
What was it like off-screen as well? Because, you know, we all know James Avery to be that TV father figure.
That was it.
That a lot of people didn't have. Was that?
That was it.
Like
He was the show father figure.
Yeah.
You know, James Avery was a big music buff. He was a big jazz buff. And I would give him music that I had, and he would give me music that he had. And, you know, there's a lot of times I would just go in his dressing room, and he would just be playing stuff. And I would, you know, ask him, well, who's that? And he would give me the CD, and I would.
No Shazam back in those days.
No.
That's dope. I love that. All right, switching lane, and just to close out, I mean, you've been to the Middle East and the UAE so many times now.
Mm-hmm.
In your music or in anything that you do, art form wise, is there anything from the region that you've pulled on as inspiration that's made it into your art form? A sound, something you've seen or experienced? Because the Middle East can be quite opulent.
Yes. You know what's funny? I remember going to Australia a long time ago, and I scoured for music from the region to play, and people got angry with me. And what they said is, we have that already. We brought you here for you to give us what you do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never thought of it like that. That it was kind of like people want, you know, if you're a chef, people want you to bring your cuisine to the table. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to bring the same thing that they're used to eating every day. Yeah. You know, they want a little bit of a difference. But what I try to do a lot of times is, if I hear anything that I like, I'll incorporate it maybe somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, so it's I have so much music. I'm always listening to music. I'm always scouring for music. You know, I like playing stuff that people never heard before. You know, it's to me, it's really about giving people some level of an experience. And you kind of want an experience that you never had before.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever bucked up on any local talent here, DJs here that you've met. Have you ever collaborated with anybody from here, or kind of been in the studio with, or?
No, I mean, I had a bunch of friends, you know, when we would come over here, especially pre-pandemic. I think the pandemic really stopped everything, and everything is just starting to kind of get, you know, back. You know, I was pretty much doing close to 160 dates a year. Wow. And I did that for a really long time. I'm not going back to 160 dates a year. But you do kind of miss the camaraderie that you have traveling and meeting people. Yeah. You know, I enjoyed, especially coming, you know, to this region and being places and have been places and knowing people there. It's really comforting when you get off the plane and you can call someone that you That's know true. And say, hey, I want to go eat, and I want to go to this clothing store, and I want to go here. Yeah. And that's the thing that I missed, you know, especially with this being such a short trip. You know, you didn't really get a chance. You know, I literally came in and I have been sorting out through music for the past day and a half.
We got you next time. Next time.
Yes, absolutely.
One final question. So the music industry here in the UAE is very young, mm-hmm. right? And you know, to speak candidly, I think a lot of the local artists struggle to kind of find their own unique sound. You kind of find it being very much mimicked from mm-hmm. overseas. And I think that's one of the things that slows down the growth a little bit of the music industry here. What would be a piece of advice from yourself to artists trying to break into the industry, or who are already in the industry here, but are struggling to kind of, you know, not take off, but create their own sound? I think that's the one thing that artists struggle with here.
The one thing that I can say, you have to create your own infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Like you, as much as you want to grab inspiration from the outside, you know, you need to find your tribe. You guys need to get together. You guys need to cultivate sounds and experiment on what you think is dope. And it's like, once you do that and you start that circle, and slowly that circle grows, and then that circle starts to go into other regions. I think a lot of times people are, I used to always get people that would tell me I want to go to America to kind of make it.
Yeah.
And I would say, your stuff is doper over here than it is in America. You know, I understand that it looks bigger, it looks more glamorous, but a lot of the real authentic stuff is not in the United States. You know, so I tell people as you see a lot of these cultures grow, because I remember having this conversation with people in the UK a lot.
Yeah.
That it was just kind of like everybody in the UK wanted to go to the United States, and I was like, you have no idea how dope you guys are if you just kind of get in this circle and keep going. And I watched over the years, it took a minute.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're looking, if people over here are looking at anything, you should kind of pay attention to the UK, because it really took about 20-25 years for that scene to get so big that the United States started mimicking the UK.
That's so true.
And that's basically it. There's no fast way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are kind of like, how can we cultivate this scene in a year? That will never happen. The only way that this is going to happen is it has to happen over time.
Yeah, absolutely true. No, that's some good advice. I hope you guys are listening and taking heed. No, man, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. It's Jazzy Jeff. It's your girl Sadiece. We're out. We're going to let him go play his set. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate it.